Scott, turn me up. You don't want this. Lock up. Those are some of the terms that we heard during a very competitive and a colorful game between Jazz Gaming and Wizards District Gaming. You see Jazz Gaming getting the win 68-65, like Scott mentioned. It was 57-50 late in the third quarter. Jazz Gaming going an 18-8 run. They get the win, and they improve to 1-0 in Group B play. How exciting was that, and how much woofing and chirping was going on during that game?
I said it when we were looking over this group. I said, this is going to be the most vocal group by far.
You sure
Jazz Gaming, time and time again, he kept on hearing say box. That just means he's locking up the defender every single time. So the big thing, this is good old-fashioned basketball. None of that three-point just kind of raining in. It was all came down to that paint game time and time again. But it just was the weaknesses from both sides. They were pretty even. It was just that watching the cuts, no good communication when it came down to those rotations as well.
Yep, absolutely. Let's take a look at these moving color pictures. Jazz Gaming improving to 1-0. How did they get it done, Dirk?
It's all in the back of Jay Smooth. He finished this game off sitting at 10-10. You're going to see here exactly what he's going to be able to do. Driving baseline, whether it's just taking the defender straight head-to-head. You're going to see a lot of this too. We talked about the backdoor cuts. Who's going to be there to try to defend that one? He was able to slip by. This play, exactly. Tiffy had the ball. He goes on the cut. Excellent communication coming out there from Jazz Gaming. But like we said, it was the paint game. You started to get Deeds in it, compete. He started to hit some shots as well. He starts to get more involved. But Tiffy, the deadly sniper, I've never seen a guy from watching the scrims green so much. It's a lot harder to do that when you're a shooter, but they start to run away with it. As soon as that momentum gets behind your back, it's going to be so hard to stop it against a team like Jazz Gaming.
Jazz Gaming, Smooth had a huge game, over 20 points. They took their first lead with about 5 minutes and 6 seconds left. They held on 18-8 to close it out.
Scorer, Knicks 72, Warriors 67. Let's go back up top to Larry and Dirk.
All right, thank you, Scott. We're high above the court side on the perch. And yes, Knicks Gaming getting the win, 72-67. Got out to a really quick lead, hit 9 of their first 10 shots. You're thinking, wow, they're going to run away with this thing and maybe have a blowout here. But credit Warriors Gaming for coming back. They took the lead for the first time with 5:30 left, 56-55. But then Goofy, the three with 2 minutes left, that was the dagger that put them up. They retook the lead and never looked back. You look at their big four, they scored 70 of their 72 points. Huge win for the hometown Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, the two guys that we've always isolated from this side of the Knicks Gaming, they both had double-doubles. You're looking at Goofy, you're looking at Adams. Now, like you said, Goofy got off to a very hot start. Then they go into that second quarter, third quarters where they kind of shied away. They started getting the ball. He wasn't making his shots, but they turned up big down the stretch. And really, it was Adam the first. That was kind of my guy to highlight throughout that entirety. He got 2 big steals. He was able to make some big threes, and the only threes that he made in the game that came down the stretch to kind of propel that lead for the side of Knicks Gaming as well. So the duo of Knicks Gaming showing up when you need them most. But just overall, we're seeing the weakness throughout the weekend. I think of almost the majority of these teams, backdoor cuts. Nobody has been able to get any reads on that one, and we'll see when the highlight reel comes up. I'm sure we're going to have plenty of backdoor cuts that are going to be rolling on through.
Second straight game that went down to the wire, a couple of possessions. That is now 7 of 8 games over the last 2 days that have been very close. Here are the highlights for you, Dirk. Knicks Gaming with the win.
Yeah, so as we kind of just touched up on that first half, it was a lot of getting offensive board. Paint was completely exposed going in there from both sides. Obviously, Knicks come out with the win. This is the highlight tape for them. Idris, he had a little bit of a slow second half, but you can start to see how well Knicks Gaming was working in transition. We're talking about the jump shots, the archetypes that are coming through. Nate had a little bit of questionable shots that were going down with his build, shot creating slasher. You don't really want to be pulling threes unless you have that heat marker under you as well. But they're making sure they have these correct bases on them, so they're going to be able to pull the trigger. They get that release off very fast. But as we said, Adam the first, the jelly lane, goaltending is going to be called right there. That's going to get them the bucket. And this was the big three that he ended up hitting. This is where momentum fully went their way. You see the block come in there as well. And this was Goofy. Like we said, he had a slow start. That three is something he shouldn't be taking on that build very much, but when you have the open shot, that's kind of that go-ahead to go on forward. That propelled Knicks Gaming up into the win.
Adam, Goofy, Nate, and Idris combining for 70 of the 72 points. Knicks get the win. They're 1-0 in Group B after that 5-point victory over the Warriors.
Go back upstairs to Larry and Dirk. What a game.
All right, thank you, Scott. High atop the court to the perch up here, Larry Ridley alongside Dirk. And another game, this is 9 now. 8 of 9 have been within 2 possessions. Warriors Gaming getting their first win, 62-56. A smooth, silky 3 right there with about 30 seconds left. Put Warriors up by 4. that was the key to the ballgame.
Yeah, I mean, we keep on touching it as well. It's like when you're running that build-up beast move, it's going to be so hard to knock down those threes. But if you have a complete open shot, that's where you need to take it. He missed the previous one that he took, but it rattled around a little bit. That finally fell inside the hoop. So just one of the bigger shots that you can hit, and that's been kind of a trend. A player has a slow start coming in from that three-point range. They're able to come up big in the latter half of the game. Then they finally get that shot to seal the win.
Also, Jazz, a big miss there with about 55 seconds left by compete. They were up. It was 57-56, so that was a huge miss there as well. Vert, Type, and Smooth combining for 51 points. Let's show you how Warriors Gaming got it done, Dirk.
So like we said, the first half, it's just the Vert show. I mean, that's really it. Type at the very end of the game. It's like, carry me, Vert. That's all he had to say about that one, and that's what it did. We called it out when we went into the halftime. It's okay, Vert's doing everything for this side. He's doing it on defense. He's doing it on offense. The guys surrounding him need to step it up. They answer the call. You had Type. He was finally able to grab those rebounds. You also had them kind of contributing when it came down to the scoring as well. We talked about the impact of Shawn Wynn taking more of that role. He was able to make a three. That's where it started getting him going a little bit. Got that swagger back in his step. You see the green light animation. But Beast Move, another guy who was able to step up, but really the sole MVP and the reason they're going to win, that was just the vocal leadership coming in there from Vert and the play down low. And that's something when we talk about the big men, what they're able to do. These guys get themselves into these proper positions right inside the bottom of the arc. They wait for that perfect time. They throw a couple pumps. They make sure they can get themselves facing towards the basket. They go for these trigger animations to try to get those posterizer dunks, and that was going to seal it right there. The Beast Smooth three. Just a great all-around team effort. What a way to bounce back for Warriors Gaming squad.
Warriors Gaming getting a six-point win. It was 52-56. Vert, Type, Smooth, 28, 12, 11 respectively. Combining for 51. Warriors Gaming getting the win. Back here to New York City inside the NBA 2K League studios, powered by Intel. You can see Wizards District Gaming with the win in overtime. It took 27 minutes, Dirk, but they get it 81-76. Wizards now. And let's take a look at the standings here in Group B, and it's a jumbled and bunched leaderboard here as you look at the standings. All four teams 1-1 there, Dirk. How do you see this thing shaking out with everyone with one game left?
This is where it just starts to get very interesting. We got word that whoever wins this game does officially lock down a spot moving into Saturday. So this is where, like similar to what we saw yesterday, everything's on the line at this point in time. It's basically you win, you go through, you lose, you're eliminated from the tournament here as well. So definitely it's going to be intense. I mean, you have the Knicks team who just came off a loss there as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back after that.
Yeah, Knicks will play a second back-to-back game, and Knicks and Jazz, whoever wins, gets into the money. A chance to win $100,000 this weekend on Saturday. Let's take a look at the highlights. Wizards Gaming and Knicks Gaming. Dirk?
Yeah, just Wizards, they love to play the overload. They like to do these high pick and rolls. We kind of brought it up. They touched on the broadcast too. Reese kind of out of the equation. So realistically, you're kind of playing a 4 versus 4. All you're looking at that player who's guarding Reese, maybe shade over, trying to knock the ball loose at any point in time that he can. But it was just kind of a big turning point, right? We were talking about it. They looked deflated at the start. Then you had JT. He starts to get off, and he's a very momentum-built player. If you can't tell from his charisma, his attitude, and how he approaches the game, he's a guy, once he hits one, he hits another. That's where things start to get scary, and they call him Demon JT for a reason. You start to see that momentum. My unsung hero in this one is 100% going to be Gilly for the big shot he hit right here to force that overtime. This is the first time as well where we've seen 3 players drop 20 points in a game so far in this tournament. So now we're seeing how much these guys love to share the sugar, share the wealth between the side, and a well-deserved win coming for Wizards District Gaming. 4 players combining for 81 points, and you look at the Wiz, man, holy cow, they were cooking them with those guys, JT and Boo Painter and those guys. All right, guys, from the court up here to the Purge, Larry Ridley, Dirk here with you from the Perch. And yeah, Jazz Gaming, they are moving on 2-1 in group play. 64-59 winners over the home standing Knicks Gaming squad. And you look at it, look, the Jazz, they got out to that big lead, 8 of 9 to start the game. They were up at halftime as well. And then they close out the game in that last 140, Dirk. 7-2 run to close out the game. Jazz Gaming moving on. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the big things, too, is that we looked at game number 1 when Jazz Gaming first played. We saw Jay Smooth absolutely go off. He had a monster game. Game 2, slowed down just a little bit. But that game 3, he was back in prime form. He was looking like he's one of these top 2 picks for this team. That's huge for them. But you can just see the whole team morale. You saw there at the end, too. Stars like, let's get a score. Try to increase our point differential. We're in. We don't need to score anymore. We're perfectly fine. So Jazz Gaming, they advance on forward. They will be making it to Saturday. We already know Cavs, Legion, Pistons, GT. And our next game that's going to be coming up, that's where we're going to find out who the next team for Group B will be.
3 of the 8 teams, we know those guys. Deeds compete, all playing well for Utah Jazz Gaming. Let's take a look at the highlights. Jazz Gaming moving on to the championship round on Saturday, Dirk.
Yep, as we touched up on it, competes allowing his teammates to get set up. You got some pretty good shooting coming in there from the big man, but like we said, same thing when we go and recap that exact game number one. The backdoor cuts that Jay Smooth had, playing off the dribble, had an open lane almost every single time, but you can see these Knicks gaming players were constantly biting the bait of when they did send somebody on that cut. That's how they were able to get so many open shots. They're able to read the pass lanes. It's just so much miscommunication on defense coming in from this Knicks gaming side. And when you're leaving these shooters open, they're gonna make you pay. Down the stretch, you have that momentum. You're having your bigs hit consistently. That is gonna be that ultimate game changer. And basically, you're just seeing it get done from the inside, from the elbow, from the three. Everything clicking for Jazz Gaming, and this one is well-deserved going on forward. Knicks Gaming, it will be limited as it stands. So, like I said, just watching Jazz Gaming progress so far throughout this day has been a thing of beauty.
Jazz Gaming had the lead after the first quarter. They had it at halftime and up by 2 after 3. They closed the game out on a 7-2 run with 1:40 left. Jazz Gaming moving on 2-1 in group play.
So a big victory. Let's head upstairs to Larry and Dirk, guys.
All right, Scott, from the courtside up here to the perch, and yes, it is the Warriors getting the 82-66 win, and they are moving on in Group B. They finished 2-1, but with that win over the Jazz earlier tonight, they will get the top seed, and it will be the Warriors against the Pistons, and then it'll be the Cavs against the Jazz. So we have 4 tickets punched out of the 8 teams that will make it to the championship round on Saturday. And there you can see the Group B standings right there, Dirk. Warriors gaming squad 2-1. Boy, if they can shoot like this, going to be a very, very tough out.
And I got to give it up for these guys. I was very critical of how the draft routine played out. I've been very vocal about it as well.
A very unknown team.
Yeah,
now we know them.
Making a prediction coming in, I didn't think the Warriors were going to be able to do much, and that's just because of the names, but it just goes to show team chemistry is one of the most important aspects of this game. As you guys can see, bracket on your screen, Jazz versus Cavs Legion is going to be at the top there towards the bottom. Pistons GT, Warriors, that one's locked in. These are going to be some great games. I mean, you got 2 groups that play completely different styles of NBA 2K basketball.
Yeah, very, very tough group right there in Group B, and a very tough group in Group A, so we'll see those guys. Like we said, 4 of those 8 participants are now in the field for Saturday's championship round. Let's take a look at the highlights and how Warriors Gaming got a huge win tonight, and they are moving forward. Dirk?
And like we said, we've been waiting for Sean Wynn to come through, and something for the Wizards District Gaming side. It's always been just kind of a struggle when it comes down to guarding those threes. Usually they trade blows back and forth. Yes, the differential was only by 3 in favors of Warrior Gaming Squad, but you started to see they changed up their game plan. Instead of having like a pro being that main ball handler, they said, you know what? Let's go ahead and take a little bit of a page out of the Cavs Legion book. Let's have our shot creating slasher go ahead, try to lead the game here. Levert put on another show, making that argument. I know we've only seen 2 groups, but he is already looking like to be one of the best big men that we have in this game. But Sean Wynn, this is huge for his confidence. He started to shoot, I think, more than he has throughout the entire of the games that we saw. He shot perfect from 3 at 5 for 5, and you're seeing it get done right there. So I think overall, the confidence builder for this Warriors Gaming squad to come on through, get this first place spot is huge for them. And I can't wait, man. Group C is going to be a hell of a show, too.
Very good day today. Warriors 9 of 12 from behind the arc. Sean Wynn, like you said, 15 points. If he can get it going like this, I think that, notches up the Warriors a little bit. You agree?
And that's the thing, too. So, yeah, that's something you have to watch out for. They're going with that Warriors style play of basketball. Make sure you shoot your threes. But this time they got Sean more involved. They were running these overlaps, and that's where you started to see the weaknesses coming from the side of Wizards District Gaming. They weren't able to get those switches in time. When you have a guy like Sean Wynn, we've been sitting there waiting, how well does he know this jump shot? That was one of the questions just kind of going through, because when he has shot, they're not looking too good. But this confidence, he was sitting there, and we can hear it behind us. These players yell green.
Exactly.
You know that shot is about to fall. Every single time one of those shots went up, that was that confidence booster. They know that was going in. They put so much faith into him as well. But this is probably one of the most team-oriented games of basketball, like the win side column that we've seen in Game 6. It's just becoming a trend of the blowouts.
It has. 10 of the 12 games have been close within a couple of possessions. The last couple of games to end the night have not been. Warriors shoot 69%. Sean Wynn got it going. They kept saying, sharpshooter, sharpshooter. When is he going to get it going? Well, they got some screens for him, and he was able to get loose. We'll take a look at Group C tomorrow. We'll get to see your guys. Raptors uprising. You got Sixers in there. You got the Magic and Blazer 5. That group Who do you like going into this early lean right here?
I think one of the big things, a lot of people are sleeping on Magic Gaming, and I know that Heat Check, they've kind of had their respect for them, that this could be a team that could come out and who knows, they could kind of shake the world up, kind of like how Warriors Gaming Squad just did here as well. And in Group D, we talk about it time and time again. Group of Death, we'll see 2 of those games that are going to be going down on Thursday. We get the first pick in Dimes. He's going to be going up against Heat Check. And then we talked about Grizz Gaming. I kind of sat down with the guys and what are the expectations coming on through. Again, another team that they went with, guys who maybe aren't these biggest names, but nobody's seen what they can bring to the table. They haven't been able to scrim against them, so it's going to be a clean slate coming forward when you play Grizz Gaming.
I'm going to put it out there again, Dirk. Watch out for Celtics crossover. Not a lot of people talking about those guys. What another great day it was. Day 2 of the inaugural season of the NBA 2K League. Here in New York City, it'll be the Warriors and Jazz moving along in Group B, joining Group A winners, Cavs and Pistons. Thank you for joining us tonight. For more NBA 2K League action, that's all the coverage for today from the tip-off from New York City. Tune in tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern for coverage of Group C's and Group D. Don't forget to hit that follow button above our Twitch player for notifications and when we go live. From everyone at the NBA 2K League, Scott, Phil, and my colleagues Dirk, I'm Larry Ridley. Thanks for watching live over from New York City. Good night from the NYC. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 Eastern. Good night.